So currently there's a lot of stories about fourth waves and lockdowns, and so people are concerned now that they mustn't make another lockdown, hard lockdown. And the way, when the media, the way it starts playing things and you say, all right, okay, this is where they're going. All the agents of Dajjal, whatever their intentions, whatever their makar is, their plots. Allah Ta'ala protect us. So, one thing we must do, all of us inshallah Ta'ala, is make it a habit that daily we start reading the first 10 verses of Surah Kahf and the last 10 verses of Surah Kahf. The first 10 and the last 10 verses. Start reading it daily. And make our families also read it. Right? Huzur Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned that a person who reads Surah Kahf, the whole surah, on Jumu'ah, that if Dajjal has to come in that week, he will be saved from the fitna of Dajjal. Now that is Dajjal himself. So if a person is reading it regularly, then inshallah, the fitnas that are leading up to Dajjal, that's smaller than Dajjal himself, right? So he'll be safe from that also. But there is also virtue mentioned in the hadith with regards to reading the first 10 verses and the last 10 verses. And many people who were very confused, where they didn't know which way to turn, they couldn't see through this mist of fitan. They couldn't see it as fitna. They were thinking, this is actually for our own good and for the, the greater good and the betterment of society and, all these kind of things. But when they started reading this first 10 verses and last 10 verses of Surah Kahf, then everything became very clear to them. So there is some barkat, some ruhaniyat in these verses. Allah has kept some power in these verses which will assist us against Dajjali fitnas. Right? So we must make it a habit, make our families also read first 10 verses, last 10 verses of Surah Kahf. The other thing is that, there is a saying, you say, once bitten, twice shy. Once bitten, twice shy. So one time, they came out with the story, we must close our masjids and everything. Right? We're not going to be fooled into that again, Right? We have to keep the fires burning. Somehow, even if they come with lockdowns and whatever, somehow or the other we must keep our Masaajid open. And we must keep everything going. See, in Russia, when it became a communist country, then to teach religion was banned, right? To teach religion was banned, to practice religion was banned, to read Quran Sharif was banned. Did that stop the Muslims? No. There were those who said, no, you know what, now we'll get in trouble, whatever, they left it. There were others who held on. They kept the fires burning. Right? Somehow they saw how to beat the system. In Turkey was the same thing. There was a lady, I may have mentioned to you, there was a lady who was a hafiza, elderly lady, and she was teaching girls hifz. And how she was teaching? She had a dairy farm. So the girls used to come as if to say they are coming to milk the cows, to buy milk, you must milk their own cow, take how much milk, pay for the milk and go. In that time that they were coming to milk the cow, she was teaching them their sabak and listening to them. Right? In that, I can't remember the exact number, I read it somewhere, or how many hundreds of girls she made Hafiza. So when it comes to all other things, you see sometimes businessmen, they are very sharp. So a businessman now, he wants to open a supermarket in a center. But that center got an anchor tenant, maybe Checkers or Pick and Pay or something. So if he applies, he wants to open a supermarket, they won't give him. Because they can't upset the anchor tenant. Right? So what he'll do is, he's opening fruit and veg. So that is alright, never mind. Or he's opening some other store, something to do with food, but not supermarket. You don't call it supermarket. But inside there he's selling all the groceries, you see. So he found a way to get around the system. So when it comes to dunya, we always find a way to get around the system. But when it comes to our deen, all of a sudden, no, we can't do nothing. It's not the shan of the believer. It's not the shan of the believer. Right? One Jordanian man, I met him now on Jummah in, where is this place? Calvin, one of those suburbs that side. His name is Adnan. So, when that whole lockdown happened, the first time, in hard lockdown, so they stood up in the masjid to make an announcement that the masjid would be closed. From the next namaz, there will be no namaz in the masjid. So he stood up in the masjid. And he told the person who was making the announcement, he said, over my dead body. Masjid won't close. So you don't want to come, you don't come. And if you are afraid that you will get in trouble, then you resign as a mutawalli. Right? But we will read namaz in the masjid. Right? So I'm not saying you must become defiant and rebellious and all that. What I'm trying to say is we have to have some sort of iman, right? And we have to hold on to our deen. If we're just going to allow things, this law came out, now finish, we can't practice on this and we can't practice on that, and what will we have left of our deen? So we have to be able to stand up for our deen, and then consequences are consequences. The Muslims always gave life for deen. They got locked up for the sake of deen. They got punished for the sake of deen. They paid fines for the sake of deen. We have to stand up for our deen in an orderly manner without, doing anything. I'm not advocating violence and all those things. I'm saying in a respectful manner, in an orderly manner, we have to stand up for our deen and keep deen alive, keep things burning. We can't just leave things. We went through 2 Ramadans, no Eid namazes, no Eidgahs. Can we allow for this thing to just carry on? They'll just carry on coming out with waves. Every time they decide, come out with another wave, and then masjid must get closed, no namaz, no tarawih, no Eid namaz. So what you got left now? So we have to have some istiqamat. Allah Ta'ala give us himmat, Allah give us courage, give us the ability to stand firm with ikhlas for the pleasure of Allah Ta'ala.